Hello, Leslie. Hello, Charito. N-
Hello.
Nice to have you. And Dr. Ash is joining. Nice to have
Good
you.
evening, everyone.
Good evening, Charito. So, let us start. And I hope you will enjoy it. So, I will switch my camera and let's start. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the next Industry 5.0 Power of Touch event, in which we will write on the back of a language towards wasteless world. And we do it for 3 years already, meeting here the members of Industry 5.0, a global family. And we establish something which we will talk about because the term today will be connection. And because I have Leslie on the top of my screen, Leslie, I will start with you. When you heard few seconds ago the term connection, what came first to your mind, please?
Well, the first thing that came to mind for me was caution. Um, I've learned throughout my life, and being a person who is trusting to begin with, and rather a Pollyanna about relationships and connections, I've learned that they come and go. And all my life, it's only been a few people that I'm really closely connected with. I'm connected with a lot of people, but a deep connection I do with caution because of results I've experienced inside those connections where trust isn't always kept. However, connection, I also think about collaboration and mastermind. And so, connection in a very special way brings out the magic of the universe, which is my ability to get an idea for you on one of your projects as we're talking, of which I know nothing. And yet, if I'm listening carefully and we are connected, I will come up with solutions and examples and ideas for what you do, even though I'm quite inexpert. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Leslie. Charito, the same question for you. So, when you heard the term connection for the first time today, what came first to your mind, please?
Good evening, everyone. Connection for me, I look at it in two things. One, physical. We have what we can see. There's a connection, LinkedIn connection. The material. There's no connection, internet connection. One connected to the other to have to make something which is useful to both sides connected. It's also a link. It is an association between people. It's like you have a line, a connection for me. If you are, it's an alignment or attachment. Like you have a connection to the powers that be. It's something that uh, we may be down. We're just ordinary human, the grassroots, but we have connections to the presidency. That is something which we cannot see literally, of course, but when something has to give, then you can contact and connect with them and do with your thing. So connection for me is a lot of things. It's more, rather, it could be, love is a connection, when the loved one is out of your sight or friend is out of, you're connected to him in the spirit, in the heart. So there are many, for me, many could be said about connections. It's either in this world, out of this world, but at the end of the day, it's a connection when both, probably it's attached to other, associated, or linked to each other. My mind is closed. Back to you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Charito. I think it was extensive. And Dr. Ash, you are the next one. So let me ask you what came to your mind first when I asked for the first time about connection.
Thank you very much, Michael, and good evening, everyone. Let me put together what Leslie and Charito have said. I think Leslie has put a lot of meaning towards this word connection in the sense that obviously you can't trust everybody in this world. And when you connect with people, um, it depends if that person is like minded, well, then you could be absolutely visible with that person all the time, with that feeling of trust. And the way Charito described it also. So I'd like to say that it's really an invisible thread that links people like us together. We've got ideas to express and experiences that we need to share between each other. So it's really a fundamental part of human life, shaping how we grow, learn, and understand the world. From this, from the moment that we are born virtually, we seek connection. It starts, of course, with the family, and then as we grow up, friends and the wider community. Though these bonds may be, not permanent all the time, but we need to develop a sense of belonging and identity. So that would be the what I would personally term as the human connection, which should go beyond simple interaction. It should involve empathy and trust, what Leslie said, and of course, mutual understanding, what Charito had inferred. Now, a genuine connection allows individuals to share thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment. In friendships, connection builds loyalty and support. In families, it strengthens love and unity. In professional settings, it encourages teamwork and cooperation. Without connection, people often feel isolated and misunderstood. So there you have it. Connection is not limited to relationships between people. We also form connections with nature, culture, and knowledge. A walk through a forest, for example, it can create a peaceful bond with the natural world, like as I go out in the mornings for my morning walk. Now, of course, we're not very much into reading books these days, but there were times gone by as a younger person, I would find reading a book very powerful for increasing my knowledge. And therefore, I would love to connect with the author's ideas and emotions. Now, music. Nowadays, of course, I can't find the time for music. But there was a time when I had some lovely moments with friends, with loud music. And I remember there was one friend who kept saying time and again, at that time I used to smoke also. And I used to smoke a cigar. I guess it was a mood of showing off also at the same time. But I remember the time when I turned the music on very loud, and there was a crystal ashtray in my study room. And when my friend asked me to turn it on really loud, crystal ashtray suddenly crashed, broke up on the table. So that's what connections can do. If things are too loud, if your connection is different from what I mentioned, well, it can fall apart. So you have to understand it the way I'm trying to explain it to you. In today's world, technology has changed how we connect. Social media and instant messaging allow people to communicate across great distances. While digital tools make connection easier, they cannot fully replace the face to face interaction that we have between us, where body language and tone add deeper meaning to communication. So, therefore, to wind it up, I'd like to say that connection is about understanding and being understood. It nourishes our emotional well being and strengthens our relations between each one of us. So, when we choose kindness, listen carefully, and show compassion, we build stronger connections. In today's world, we can sometimes feel divided. So, a connection reminds us that we are not alone. It unites us, gives life a greater meaning and purpose. And that is what we are all about every Wednesday. Thanks to you, Michael. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ash. It was nice summary. Usi, you are the next one. So the term is connection. What was first on your mind when you hear the term?
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Michael, for this opportunity. I agree with my fellow. Connection refers to a link, relationship, or association between two or more entities. Connection is any state in which people, systems, or ideas are joined in a meaningful way. For example, a personal connection describes any emotional or relational bonds between individuals. In networking and telecommunications, connection is established communication paths between devices that allows data exchange. This may be physical, cable, or wireless, meaning radio signal. In transportation, connection referred to as a link between goods, such as flights or train transfer. Logic or reasoning. Connection describe a personal or sexual relationship with ideas.
Thank you very much, Usi. Leslie, there was said there is that connection connects, let's say, Usi used the term two entities. But what about connection to ourselves? Is it a connection as well, or do we need another term to describe the connection between us and ourselves?
That's a really great question. There is connection within us once we wake up and become aware of it, because we can hear the faithful side of us in our conscious mind, which is the connection to the universe, which is where we've always heard that God is within us. So you can consider, which I have discovered, and there is research around this, that The conscious mind is your higher self. It's the whisper. You hear the whisper of the universe. It's where our intuition is. It's our stronger side. Well, it's our higher side. It's not our stronger side. The other side is the subconscious, which really isn't thinking, but hosts all our fears. This is stronger, and there are 6 of them. So effectively, it's more than 2 minds and 2 conversations. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that only one fear or the reaction to the fearful experience, no matter how many years have gone by, is still stronger than our faith in ourselves. And so there's very often, or usually, the fearful, non thinking, automatic, reactive side of us does the talking because both can't talk at the same time. So that's one part. It's understanding the distinction between our 2 selves that has us aspire to do work as I do, to build faith in our ability and our deservability, which we don't have because the fearful experiences that we've had are real. And each time we resurrect it through our imagination and visualize it, along with it comes the cellular vibration, which is very low because it's a negative experience. So that's typically what dominates our internal self. Interestingly, the results that we get, physical, emotional, any kind of results that we get, is an exact match to our fears, whichever fear is most dominant. It's not permanent, but it about 95% of our processing, according to certain research, is that we're not thinking at all. We're simply reacting out of the fear of, as Dr. Ashman mentioned, the fear of criticism or judgment. There's also the fear of poverty. That's the other big one. So the internal connection remains negative until such time that we can create a wealth mindset. And so every one of the fears can be disproven and counteracted over time. However, what we have to do is to do the very thing we failed at, or to do something that we're compelled to do that we've never done before. Once completed, we have now taken the first step to outweigh or outshadow that fear. But because we've been listening and to that internal side, the negative side, all our lives, and we've resurrected these real experiences that were not positive, they dominate. And so, just so you know, it's the fear of criticism or the fear of poverty. It could be the fear of illness. I mean, we had COVID. People have diseases in countries. That's a real fear. You've had people die. So then there's the fear of a loss of love, whether it's a person or an animal or whatever you feel disconnected with love. And then you've got the fear of old age. Well, I'm too old to do that. And then the fear of death. We have perfect faith in our fears. And the only thing we have faith in for sure that is probably the strongest, but not strong enough to outweigh the fears without a lot of practice, is the faith in God and in the universe. So our work then in learning is to become aware every day of our infinite potential, to look for the good things, because it's through repetition, the first law of learning, that are the first steps to outweigh those fears, to disprove them, and add to the subconscious automatic thinking the proof, which is what you have done that you have failed at or that you've never done before, yet you are compelled through your higher side, for whatever the reason is, to complete this act. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Leslie. Charito, during one of the previous events, you mentioned your accident. And at the same time, you mentioned that you feel after connected in a different way to your life and to the everything, to God. Is this something what do you think is the strongest of the connections?
Yes, definitely, Michael. Everything in me, with me, and what I am, I always, it's always connected to God. In my life now, even before I had an accident, and even more after the accident, I put God at the center of everything in my personal life, in my business, and in all those things. So I asked Him uh, to show me the way, to guide me. In my failures, every day, it's not only because I get something that I go to God, I pray. I pray daily, Michael. Oh, that as a Roman Catholic, I pray the rosary, novenas, and all that. I hear Mass daily, Michael. And because people may not see me or outside, they might think that I'm somebody who is not doing all those things. But I do that not in front of everybody. I do it in the confines of my home when I'm inside. And in outside, I don't show it to people that I do, but they know that I have faith in God. And this faith in Him forms my connection to myself. Because of that belief, that faith, it's my conscience that sometimes opens me up. When my connection that I have, all kinds of connections will bring me towards a negative thing, especially in business. The connection where I know a lot of people who are placed in a echelon, higher echelon in a certain local government unit, like in register of deeds, the tax, and everywhere. So, if it's something like, I don't know if sometimes I feel, am I conscience stricken? Am I wrong, Lord? When you use your name because you're connected. When other people are queuing to have something done in an office, and I don't need to do that. All I do is dial my phone, call the chief or somebody there, and I'm being attended to. So those things are connections. Am I using it the right way? So I look at my faith. Am I believe in God? Is it the right way? Is it the wrong way? But then at the end of the day, I said, as long as I don't step on other people's shoes, I'm just being honest. I'm earning my living and I'm using that not because I'm somebody over and above these people, but because I know, in business you do something like that. So you will prop up your things. It will be easier. It will be fast. So in that case, I would say that I'm only human. Sometimes my path goes astray, go to the left and to the right. But I ask God, if you see me going to the left, please pull me to the right. Pull me back in place where I'm following you. And most of them also senior citizen. I'm, you know, uh, all those fears that Leslie mentioned, fear of death, or fear of getting old. I had that before. But now because of that faith, Michael, accident or not, I know that I am in good hands. God is looking down at me. But sometimes as a human beings, I don't know that I've been overboard or that. That's why I ask my friends if I did something that you think is not. Please tell me. I can easily bend, go down, ask my sorry or forgiveness of whatever. I do that all the time. Back to you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Charito. Do you know what is interesting? My connection to all of you when you speak gets stronger when I close my eyes. So closing one of my senses improve my ability to listen and dive deep. In these moments, I am next to you. And this is what I think makes the connection so strong. So even if you write a comment and so on, I must not see it because, as I said, I really close my eyes to be much stronger. Dr. Ash, I know you are closely connected with education, with teaching, with other people, helping them to build up. How do you think, how important do you think is the really deep connection between a teacher or tutor and the student?
A very interesting question, Michael, as always. I was thinking you might ask me something in connection with religion also, because what Leslie had said, um, I thought was very strong. And what Charito said reminded me of my mother with her rosary, because she was also a Roman Catholic. And therefore, like, I have the best of both religions, should I say. My father being a Muslim, the best understanding, should I say. And knowledge by itself gives education a powerful connection that links individuals to knowledge, society, and opportunity. With me, I actually build a bridge between my students, so far as I'm concerned, and their curiosity and understanding helps me actually make sense of the world to them. It's through my education of my students, whosoever they might be. Sometimes I'm dealing with very senior people, as I am these days, people who are directors and CEOs of companies. They believe in me, and therefore they've connected with me for ideas from my past experiences, the lessons that I have learned, the lessons that I have to keep abreast with so far as the present is concerned. I have to give them hope for the future. It's very difficult because it's not a question of reading books any longer or Googling up facts, or not a question of passing exams. It's a question of forming meaningful relationships with information to my pupils or my students, to people who are very senior, colleagues, who have to go back to their organizations, or should I say communities, and connect with different people, people who might be very different from me. And therefore, I've got to explain it in a manner so that they can understand what might be happening in their particular scenario, in their particular culture as such, no matter whatever generation. Now, I equate myself also in the same age group as Charito and Leslie, and therefore every morning when I get up, I say, oh, thank God I'm still alive. Another day. Now, here, let me take you into this faraway world from both Leslie and Charito. I'm probably in between both of you all, and pretty far away from you also, Michael. A student in Pakistan can learn about the discoveries of Albert Einstein or the poetry of William Shakespeare, showing how knowledge travels beyond borders. In this particular way, education unites humanity by sharing experiences, values, and achievements. It creates understanding and reduces misunderstandings amongst different societies. So, to conclude, I'd like to say that if I can provide the right skills that can lead to employment, independence, and personal growth, well, then I have done my job. Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ash. Usi, I have a very special question to you. Do you think we can measure the connection, which was just described? I don't speak here about the number of connection on LinkedIn and so on. I speak about the connection which has been right now described by Leslie, Dr. Ash, and Charito. Do you think we can measure it?
Yes, Michael.
And how?
Yes. Continue. Go ahead, Michael. Michael, the previous day, you give me the link with some citizen who live in Zanzibar,
Yes.
Czech Republic who live in Zanzibar. I try to connect with her to assist the government of Tanzania in case of building a wasteless world, building a wasteless Tanzania. But even now, I didn't get any response. So, thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Usi. I have to tell you all that we have 8 minutes left. And I would like to come back to you, Leslie, because it's quite interesting that, none of us was speaking about the speed of connection, about the data connection, about all these types of connection, which we are being told they are the most important ones, but they are not. And my question to you, Leslie, how can we highlight that, or how can we turn it into reality then when someone says connection, majority of the people will not see data or mobile phone, but will see other person. Is it workable?
Well, I'm trying to understand your question. Is it workable? Well, so first of all, as I said in the chat, that the measurement is possible, but it would be relative to each one of us. We would measure our level of effectiveness. The trick is that the connection where a person understands where you are and is relatively close to where you are in level of education or awareness. Even with us, we all understand each other, except sometimes there's a word and we learn from that. But people are ready to wake up and ask, is this all there is? Now, ultimately, everyone does, whether you're on your deathbed, whether you're our age. I wish I had been younger, right, when I began the study. But maybe I wasn't ready for it then. So we can only influence others, like Dr. Ash. He influences. We can't control, but it's through the way we present. And I'm going to get a little off track here, but in the interest of time, in my show on Monday, I have a different guest teacher every week because we're all teaching the same thing from different perspectives. And each teacher is at a different level of awareness. So we don't wake up at the same time. And the audience are all at different levels of awareness. What I've learned is that I could teach all of this. However, I won't resonate with everyone. So, by bringing a different guest teacher on each week from their perspective and their level of awareness, allows people who are listening, the students, if you will, or the attendees, to be selective and also to resonate with some teachers as opposed to others. The ultimate end, of course, is to learn and get out of confusion back into order. So, out of confusion comes order, and sometimes we don't resonate with one teacher. So, I don't know where I went on that, except to say that this business, it's up to us to follow our own evolution. We can document it, we can write it down. We don't have to, we can tell it in stories. But it's all based on our values, and values are growing. They aren't set either. So I guess it's just a moving target, Michael, and I'll leave it there.
Thank you very much, Leslie. I have to tell you that the word today did not come from me. It was proposed by Jane, the love of minds. And it is interesting that just before we started the event today, Jane does not understand English. That's important to say. But just before start of this event, Jane called me and said, Michael, I start reading your book. I wrote 4 books, nobody published, but they are printed on a paper like old style. And she said, I read your book, or I start reading your book. When did you write it? And I said, it was 1993. And she said, it's impossible. That's so strongly connected to what you do today that it seems to be almost impossible. And I think it is important, and you mention it partly, that our connection with time, so as with nature, with God, with the others, it is so strong, included in every single one of us, that we have to really value. And you said there are connections valuable, and there are connections which have really low or almost no values. And to recognize them, I think it's very important. Not only connection between people, but even connection with the technology. And thanks to the technology, we can talk today, we can talk every Wednesday, we can meet even without traveling, because if it will be the old way, we will probably never meet. And instead of meeting every Wednesday, we will write one letter in a few months, because we have to wait for the answer. And all of you, we lived in that time, and that's great. We have only 1.5 minutes left, and I am so happy and so proud that we have established such a strong connection, connecting the world and humans in one place every Wednesday. And every single one of you represents the word for me, represents the power of connection, the power of touch, which is even the name of the podcast you are joining. So thanks a lot for your time. Thank you for the thoughts. Thank you for being the connection. Have a nice time, free of waste and wasting in all its forms. Stay safe, be free, be human, and be the role model of connection. And please remain connected with me and with the idea of wasteless world. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you too, Michael.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye bye,
Bye.
Leslie.
everyone.